Welcome to Mission to Inspire, where we share life experiences in our careers, personal lives, society, culture, religion, finance, family, and much more. Meet your host, Shola Ajabadi, as she takes you on a ride to fuel your inspiration.
Hi everyone, welcome to Mission to Inspire. My name is Shola and I've got our special guest here today who is going to talk and dive into one's life purpose. His name is Paul Williams Davis. Hi Paul, welcome onto our show.
Hi Shola, it's so good to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm just gonna read or say a little bit about him, just a short profile. So Paul Davis is an award-winning business growth consultant, a speaker. He is an intuitive personal advisor, entrepreneur, and the creator of the Executive Code. He is a 3 times best-selling author and works with professionals from around the world to discover their life purpose. His clients are business owners, celebrities, leaders from around the world and across different industry sectors. So, Paul, you're on today to actually talk about finding one's true purpose in life.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So my first question, and it's a burning one. I just really need to know. How
Sure.
did you discover you had such a unique gift, finding one's purpose?
Okay, well, it was actually quite easy, to be honest. So, as you might have guessed from the accent, I live in Ireland.
Yeah.
So, growing up in Ireland, we've a lot of folklore around being the seventh son of a seventh. So, and being the seventh son of the seventh means that you're born with special gifts, and most of those gifts typically are around healing. So, growing up as a kid, it turns out that I was the seventh son of a seventh child of a seventh child. So, it was actually 3 generations 7. And if anybody knows kind of numbers and the power of numbers, first of all, 3 is a very powerful number, 7 is a powerful number, and also 12. So when you get 777, it's quite a unique combination. So growing up as a child, then my parents knew this folklore, and what I was doing was actually healing different people that would come to the house. So whether it be coming with rheumatism, cancer, migraines, you name it, it's right across the board in terms of the different ailments that they had. So from a very, very young age, I knew I was, for want of a better word, inverted commas, special. But the intuitive or the empathic side didn't really, it didn't really make sense at that time. All I was doing was healing people. But it wasn't then until kind of I was going through school, primarily secondary school then, and moving then into university and building my career, that the empathic and the intuitive side started to kind of have its influence, if I'd say it that way. And then as I suppose grew older, I just got to understand what intuition is and what it's about, and how people use intuition, and how people are empathic and using the combination of both. And what I found in my business career was that I'd work with a business owner, and intuitively I'd know what would actually lead them to the highest level of success in their actual business itself. So hence the reason why I built a reputation of every single company that I worked with, I turned around from a financial perspective. So I'd go into loss-making companies and turn around very, very quickly. And then I'd help them to grow and scale their business. So I've kind of, in some respects, always kind of knew there was something there.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. So there were 7 children. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, there was 8 in our family. I have a younger brother as well. Yeah, and all sons. Yeah.
Wow, and all boys.
All boys. Yeah.
Were you the 7th child then?
I was the 7th, and a comment that used to be said to my mom was, oh my God, how can you put up with 7 sons? Well, there was 8 born altogether, 8 boys born altogether. How can you put up with seven sons? She used to say, yeah, and even a dog is male.
So your mom didn't really have a companion apart from your dad.
No, no. She had a tough life with us.
Oh my goodness, that is so interesting. Wow. I think I have some questions, but I'll leave that for another day.
Sure, sure.
So how do you identify someone's true unique life purpose?
Okay. Well, what I've done is I've developed a particular special methodology. So, okay, let me put it this way. I qualified as an accountant. I'm a business consultant by background as well. That's my business and has been since 20 odd years.
Yeah.
But I've also this intuitive side. So what I had to do is I had to merge the knowings and the insights that I would get for clients and try and find the evidence in their life in order to match those knowings and insights. Because for me, it's I've got to make up a process, I've got to make logic, and I've got to look for the evidence. That's the accountant and the business consultant coming out. Because what a lot of clients will turn around to me and say, "Well, Paul, you're just making it up." When I get some insights and tell them what's going to be happening and so on. So for me, I had to find a methodology. And what a lot of people would have searched online for or even read books about is when it comes to this subject matter of finding your life purpose, typically people will say, well, find what your passion is, and then you'll know what your life purpose is. But however, passions are transient. Passions, you'll be passionate about something, but after a while, you'll lose the interest in your passions. And I'm passionate about an awful lot of things. If you see my background here, Shola, you'll see there's a lot of references to aviation. So I've tried nearly every single type of flight experience. I've jumped out of aircraft. I've done a biplane wing walk. I've literally done all different types of aircraft flying. It's a passion of mine, but it's nothing whatsoever got to do with my purpose. Other people will say, find your why. And if you find your why, well, then that's going to bring meaning into your life. But here's the thing. When people are trying to find out their why, they're trying to think consciously, using their conscious mind, what their why is. And secondly, they're trying to apply their why or find out what their why is based on what they're currently doing. Now, your life purpose is a soul contract. It comes from your unconscious. It's you come into this life with a purpose, and every single individual has a true, unique life purpose. So trying to figure out consciously, you'll never find the answers. So you got to find the evidence from your unconscious and how your unconscious is actually prompting you. So if you're trying to find your why based on using your conscious mind, let alone find what you're currently doing, you may not be doing what you're supposed to be doing in the first place. So it's going to be the wrong why. So a lot of people will have tried different things. So what I do is I bring them through a methodology that I've developed. And what it does is it finds the evidence in people's lives to show what their soul is trying to prompt them towards and what their unconscious is trying to guide them to.
Wow.
So your life purpose and every single individual has an overarching life purpose. So everybody shares that life purpose. And that overarching life purpose is to be your genius you, meaning just you, like you be your genius you. That's your overarching life purpose, but also to live life fully, to experience, to love, and to evolve. So everybody shares that life purpose. However, each individual then has an individual unique life purpose. So what I drill down into then is finding that unique life purpose for an individual. And for me, that's made up of 4 elements, which feed into your genius you. Because your genius, the origin of the word genius comes from gignere, the Latin word gignere, which is that innate spirit that you're born with. So that innate spirit is what you want to connect with, which is, again, through your unconscious. So what we find is, I refer to it, I break it down into 4 elements.
Yeah.
There's your genius drivers. Now, if you can imagine that you've got 3 buckets sitting in front of you, well, then each one of those buckets represents a genius driver. Your job throughout your life is to fill each one of those buckets.
Right.
And by filling each one of those buckets, that's where you get fulfillment from. So where people say, well, I'm lost, I feel empty, I feel unfulfilled, I feel there's nothing in life for me, That's the reason being is they're not filling each one of those genius drivers buckets. And that's where you get fulfillment from. So that's one part. The next part is your genius quest. Because when people are trying to find out what their life purpose is, ultimately what they want to find out is, what am I to do? Meaning their mission. Tell me what I'm to do. And then once I know what I'm to do, then I'll be able to literally go and pursue that mission and fulfill that mission. So your genius quest is your mission in life. It's what you are to do. And it's very, very clear. It's very, very unique to an individual, and it's very, very specific. And then there's your genius role. And your genius role, I've identified 10 different genius roles out of all the clients I've worked with all over the years. So I'm doing this over 3 decades now at this stage. Wow. So I've identified 10 different genius roles. Your genius role, again, is something that you innately do. It's you don't have to go to college to do it. You don't have to learn any skills or education. You naturally do it. It's innate within yourself. Hence the reason it's called, I call it your genius, because it's innate within you. It's your innate spirit that you're born with. Mm. But every single genius role has a shadow side and a frustration point. And that shadow side is what causes self-sabotage for people. And they don't know, they don't realize it, because they're playing it out from an unconscious perspective. But that's what causes self-sabotage. And then the last piece is your genius inspiration. Now, again, the origin of the word inspiration comes from inspirare, which is, again, divinely guidance or divine inspiration, divine guidance, divine knowledge. And again, if you connect with the word divine, well, then you know it's God-given. So therefore, that's inspiration. Now, inspiration is undeniable, absolutely undeniable. You will have, been to different things and seen different events or different things that happen in your life. And it's that awe inspiration that you receive. That's inspiration. That's very, very different to why, meaning finding your why. So when you take those 4 elements together, that tells you what you're to do, how you're to do it, the inspiration behind why you're doing it, and what's going to give you fulfillment. And those 4 elements then literally make up your full, true, unique life purpose.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. I was actually writing down some notes.
That's good.
From what you said, it's interesting though, because as an individual, I would think that I know my why, consciously and subconsciously, because you have to develop both as well. But from what you've just said, there are different things I really need to be digging into to really know if that is really my calling, if that is really my why, and if I am actually inspired by doing the things that I do.
Yeah. So, a lot of people would come to me, Shola, and they would say exactly that, in the sense of, I know my why, but I don't know what I'm to do. But every time I drill into it, their why is always different. 100% of the time, it's always different to what their unique individual unconscious inspiration is. And some people will have a sense of what they're to do or what their purpose is. Mm-hmm. But again, it's every single individual that's come to me, it's always been somewhat misaligned. Right. So they're getting some fulfillment from their business or their career, mm-hmm. but they don't know, in effect, so let me put it this way. A really important thing in this lifetime is our intentions, because our intentions are so powerful. And I share within my community in relation of why intentions are important and how to look out for intentions and all that sort of thing. So when you know the intention behind your business, now that's bringing a completely different energy to your business or to your career. And that's your unique life purpose. So some people will be on track because, again, they're being guided by your unconscious, but literally every single individual will be somewhat off track when they come to me. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, actually, because that is really interesting. And for me, I've learned a lot just from this small explanation that you've given about why you do what you do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So you have been referred to as a lifesaver by your clients.
Yeah, by my clients. I'll emphasize that, by my clients. I don't say that. Yeah.
So, can you share any success story?
Let me explain the lifesaver one, because so many clients now have said it to me already over the years. And the reason why they said it is because in this world, and I've been there myself anyway, so I know exactly what it's like. I didn't want to be in this world. Growing up, I just did not want to be here, full stop. But a lot of clients that would come to me would feel similar, meaning they would have either attempted, planned, or contemplated suicide, meaning they want to check out of life. So when they come to me and they kind of say, look, Paul, there's no reason for me to be here. And I bring them through the methodology that I bring them through, and I work with them. That's where they come back out, and now to start fulfilling their life purpose, they come back to me and say, you're an absolute lifesaver because you saved my life. And that's happened so many times over the years. I had one individual that comes to mind, and is very, very senior executive in a very large company, had all the wealth, everything that he wanted, meaning the houses, the cars, the holiday homes, you name it, the status, the position, everything, what people would want in the commercial world, that's what people want. So from the outside world, he had everything, but he left a message on my phone, and because I had back-to-back meetings that day, I didn't get back to him until the evening time. And his opening comment to me when I rang him back was, well, if you didn't ring me back by tonight, I wouldn't be here tomorrow morning. So he'd already had a plan. He'd already literally knew exactly what he was going to do. And he had a time frame as regards when that was going to happen. So I arranged to meet with him the following morning. I had a conversation with him, explained what I do and all that kind of things. And given an idea as regards, why he shouldn't do what he had planned to do. And now literally he's living an absolutely amazing life. He sent me a text message about 6 months ago in a particular country that he'd moved to. And he said, look, everything that you've said, that you told me has literally happened, literally to the T. And his comment was, it's just uncanny, exactly what you said to me. And he just wanted to thank me in the text message with a photograph. And he said, yeah, that for me, that's, I love those kind of stories. I love the stories in terms of the outcome. The journey is a little bit challenging. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Wow. Well done, you. So for those of us that would like to contact you, to maybe get insight into what you do, how you can help and stuff, how can we contact you?
The easiest way, to be quite honest, is just go to my website, which is paulwilliamdavis.com. And on that site, there are so many different resources. There's books, there's podcasts, there's a course that I developed, which is the actual exact methodology that I use when I'm bringing clients through to discover what their life purpose is. And people can go through that course themselves. They don't need me by going through the course, because I've developed it and perfected it so much. But if they wanted to kind of have a meeting with me after the course and all that kind of things, or even within the community that I have, because I'm always within my community. It's not on any social media channel. It's literally just our community, and it's where we're sharing insights and knowledge and guidance and all that kind of things. It's a beautiful community that's been built now over the last couple of years. So yeah, the easiest way is just to go to my website, paulwilliamdavis.com.
Okay, thank you. So since you started doing what you do, have you ever had any regrets?
No, absolutely not. I absolutely love what I do. Absolutely love what I do. Wow. But when I work with somebody, the energy or the buzz that I get is just absolutely phenomenal. The only regrets or disappointments, perhaps, definitely not a regret, but the only disappointments, I suppose, I would have is that when I discover somebody's life purpose, and I go through with them and all the kinds of things, and I pretty much tell them exactly what they need to do, and then I hear back from them, either a year or 2 years later, and they haven't taken the steps towards fulfilling their life purpose. Because I know the intention behind, from a universe perspective, I know the intention behind the life purpose, an individual's life purpose. I know the impact they're to make. I know the intention of that impact and so on. It's just phenomenal. So to get that those knowings and insights is absolutely, I'm in such a privileged position. But the disappointment is when people don't pursue what their life purpose is. That's tough.
Right. So if they don't follow your advice, there won't be any outcome, any positive outcome, basically.
Their unconscious will constantly try to bring them to fulfill their life purpose because it's a soul contract. Every single individual has a unique life purpose, which is their soul contract. It's fingerprint specific. So your unconscious is constantly trying to get you to fulfill your life purpose. And I use the analogy of the feather, the brick, and the truck. The feathers are, you see something and you resonate with the message that you're seeing or you're hearing or you're having a conversation, and something inside resonates. You get a little feeling inside. They're the feathers. And if you don't take action based on those feathers, now everybody gets those. If you don't take action on those feathers, well, then the brick comes along. And in my first book, Evolve, I spoke about the fact that I'm the brick. So when people find me, because they find me in all different ways, literally, most of the comments I get is, Paul, I don't know how I found you, but I once I met you, I knew why I had to find you. But they still don't know how they came across me. I'm the brick. So the brick comes up in people's lives in terms of, it could be a setback in their business, in their relationships, in their finances, in their health. It could be any or all areas of their life. Yeah. And if they don't listen to the brick, and again, it's all about the unconscious trying to get an individual onto their life purpose. And if they don't listen to the brick, well, then the truck comes along. And the truck shows up in the form of a business failure, bankruptcy, a divorce or a separation, a serious illness that they can potentially get over, but it's life altering. It shows up in multiple different ways. And you can get a series of either bricks, and you can get a series of trucks if you're still not listening. And I observe this in an awful lot of people. So your unconscious is constantly trying to get you to fulfill what your life purpose is. Most people just, unfortunately, with the education system that we have and the culture that we have, we don't encourage people to understand that intuitive side of themselves. Now, we are getting better. Don't get me wrong, we are getting better globally from a consciousness perspective, but we don't really fully understand how we are to connect with our unconscious and our intuitive side. And that's part of what I train within the community itself.
Wow. Great. It's always good to hear from someone else sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes your conscious is telling, or your subconscious is telling you to do something, and you're questioning, why do you have to do this?
That's our conscious mind. Yeah, that's fear. That's trying to keep us safe. Yeah.
Yeah, like oh, this is too big for me. I can't do it, things like that. And that actually puts people off.
It does. Yeah.
So yeah, having people like you to actually, be able to hold their hands and help them, that is really interesting, and that's really helpful. Thank you so much for sharing. So have you got any inspirational advice for your clients in 2023?
2023, I normally, so I run a retreat every year, and I do it in January to try and plan for 2023. Okay. And each person's advice is kind of unique or individual. Mm-hmm. But what I would say to you is that, what's happening over the next number of years, people really need to connect with that intuitive side of themselves more so than ever before, because there's millions of people being called forward to step into what their true life purpose is, because of the work that is needed to be done on a global level. Now, this can be backed up from a scientific perspective in relation to when people are attuned to what their life purpose is and the intention behind it. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, we are being called forward in order to make a difference in this world. And there's, for one better word, a battle, if you want to call it this way, in terms of fear versus stepping into our life purpose. So I suppose my encouragement for people for 2023 is literally step into your life purpose and own your power within your life purpose. And fulfilling your life purpose is the quickest and easiest way to reach your full potential, because that's what you're designed to do. Your genius literally is your innate within you. It's your unique unconscious blueprint. You're designed to reach your full potential. And when you do that in line with your life purpose, well, then now that's how you do it. Yeah. So I'd be going into 2023 and say, yeah, let's do this. Let's make this happen.
Thank you so much for that word of advice. So we just need to step into our life purpose. Wow. That is very big. Some people, it's very scary, you know?
Yeah.
It's scary because sometimes to step into one's life purpose, there are, well, like you said, from the beginning, there are different elements to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are different ingredients, I'll say, that is needed for people to be able to get there. And sometimes they don't know how to get those ingredients to get to where they want to get to. But thank you so much for sharing, because with people like you, they will be able to, you know, come to you, seek advice, and you'll be able to hold their hands and guide them through what they need to do to get to where they need to get to. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Thank you, Shoda. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And until next time, it's Mission to Inspire. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. But to you that have already subscribed, we say thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Mission to Inspire. Subscribe if you have not already done so. Like, comment, leave a message. Let's stay connected. Let's jointly inspire the world.